Chosen one. How many times have you felt like something or someone was trying to throw you off balance? As if, suddenly, life became a constant test of your patience, your faith, and your inner strength. People show up just to provoke. Environments drain your energy, and exhausting situations repeat themselves for no apparent reason. It feels like the world is always trying to steal your peace. But this is no coincidence. If you feel like you're being pushed to your limit, if every day feels like a battle to stay calm and focused, it's because there's a pattern behind it. A hidden game where your stability is the real prize. And until you realize this, you'll keep falling into the invisible traps that drain your strength. If you've felt this way, it's time to act. Write the number 777 in the comments right now to declare that you're ready to reclaim your peace and will no longer be a victim of the invisible game trying to destabilize you. And don't forget to click the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss what's coming next. The problem is that most people don't even realize what's happening. They think it's normal to live stressed, to accept toxic environments, and to exhaust themselves with problems that shouldn't even be theirs. But you can't fall into this cycle, because whoever is stealing your peace is stealing much more than moments of tranquility. They're draining your energy, clouding your mind, and pulling you away from what truly matters. They want you distracted, too tired to question, too irritated to see clearly. But today, all of that ends. Today, you'll understand why they're trying to destabilize you and, more importantly, how to stop it from happening. Something inside you knows it's time to reclaim your power. You've already noticed that certain people and situations seem to suck you dry, but perhaps you haven't yet learned how to protect yourself. And that's the key. The moment you understand how they're playing against you, everything changes. You stop letting yourself be carried away, stop reacting automatically, stop wasting energy on what doesn't deserve your attention. And that's exactly what they fear most. A chosen one who knows how to maintain their peace. Because when you master this art, you become uncontrollable. Now, pay attention, because what you're about to hear could change your life. Have you ever noticed how some days seem designed to test your patience? As if everything around you was programmed to irritate you, exhaust you, and make you doubt whether you're really on the right path? It's not a matter of bad luck, but of strategy. There's an invisible system operating against you, trying to wear you down little by little. First, it's small provocations. A negative comment, an unexpected delay, an unnecessary argument. Then, these small things pile up until they feel like an unbearable weight. And before you know it, you're reacting with anger, anxiety, or frustration, exactly as they want. But who are they? Don't just think of people, because most of the time, they don't even realize they're being used as channels of exhaustion. The real enemy is the chaos that creeps into your routine without you noticing. It's in the mental exhaustion that prevents you from thinking clearly, in the constant pressure to always be chasing something, in the noise that keeps you from hearing your own voice. The goal is to make you live reactively, never creatively, to make your energy drain as you try to fix problems that shouldn't even be yours. Now look back and try to remember how many times you've lost hours, days, or even weeks stuck in worries that ultimately led nowhere. Pointless arguments, messages that never should have been answered, environments you knew you should avoid, but insisted on staying in. All of this has a cost, and the price is your peace. They don't need to steal something physical from you. They just need to take your focus, your patience, and your mental clarity. Because a distracted chosen one is a weakened chosen one. And that's exactly why situations seem to repeat themselves. Have you noticed how certain people show up in your life with the same kind of energy? How some problems return as if they're part of a vicious cycle? This happens because, as long as you keep reacting the same way, the game never changes. As long as your peace can be shaken by external circumstances, you'll remain an easy target. But the good news is that there's a way out, and it lies in how you choose to react. True victory isn't about winning every argument or proving your worth to those who don't deserve it. It's about knowing when not to react. It's about realizing that not every provocation needs a response. Not every offense deserves your attention. They want you to lose control, to emotionally exhaust yourself, to drown in unnecessary worries. But when you choose silence over confrontation, when you refuse to play their game, you become untouchable. And that drives them crazy. Maintaining your peace isn't about being passive or accepting anything. On the contrary, it's the greatest act of resistance there is. Because it means you're no longer letting yourself be manipulated. It means you're no longer available for empty fights, for relationships that drain your energy, for environments that sap your strength. And most importantly, it means you've understood that your calm is your greatest weapon. The moment you learn to protect it, nothing and no one can control you anymore. And here's the secret that almost no one realizes. The more you preserve your peace, the more control you gain over your own life. What once irritated you loses its effect. What once consumed you no longer matters. People who tried to manipulate you realize they can't anymore. You stop wasting your energy on what isn't worth it and start using it for what truly matters. And the moment that happens, you stop being a target and become a threat to everything that tried to hold you back. Your peace isn't just an emotional state, it's a fortress. And that's why so many forces try to tear it down. When you're at peace, your mind becomes sharp, your decisions become precise, and your energy remains strong. But when you're overwhelmed, your vision becomes blurry, your thoughts chaotic, and your strength depleted. This is how they try to weaken you, by creating distractions, fueling empty arguments, and placing you in environments that drain your soul. But now that you understand this game, you must decide not to play anymore. The secret lies in recognizing the patterns before they trap you. Because once you identify the strategy, you can simply choose not to react. Those who want to steal your peace need your reaction. They need you to engage, to waste your energy on something that doesn't deserve your attention. But when you choose to ignore them, they lose their power. You realize you have control over where you place your energy, and suddenly, what once affected you no longer has the same impact. Many times, you've felt this exhaustion without understanding where it came from. Now that you know, your stance must change. You need to protect your energy as if it were sacred. Not every environment deserves your presence. Not every person deserves your attention. When you accept this, your life changes. You stop carrying weights that aren't yours, distance yourself from what drains your soul, and, little by little, realize that the more you protect your peace, the stronger you become. This is the first step toward emotional and spiritual freedom. This doesn't mean you'll never be tested again. The world doesn't accept that you've found a way to shield yourself. In fact, the tests increase, because those who tried to control you don't want to lose that power. But the difference is that now you're aware. You're no longer an easy target. You see the traps before they close, sense when something isn't right, and consciously choose not to engage. This changes everything because it means you're now acting with intelligence, not impulsiveness. True strength isn't in responding to everything, but in knowing what deserves your attention. Many believe they need to counter every criticism, fight against everything that seems unfair. But that's the trap. The energy you spend trying to justify yourself could be used to build something greater. Those who master the art of peace know that silence is often the most powerful response. Those who've learned this no longer exhaust themselves trying to change what can't be changed. You need to decide where you want to place your energy. Chosen. 1. Your mission isn't to lose yourself in the chaos of the world. Your mission is to maintain clarity, stay focused, and move forward without being led astray by distractions. Because the truth is, the more you maintain your peace, the more the world tries to provoke you. But this doesn't mean you're losing. On the contrary, it means you're winning. You're becoming someone who can no longer be manipulated. When the world realizes you don't react as they expect, you become a mystery, an impenetrable force. What happens when you become a mystery? The people who once knew exactly how to provoke you start to get lost. They try every way to throw you off balance, but they can no longer predict your reactions. You become unpredictable, untouchable, a challenge they don't know how to overcome. This creates frustration because their strategy has always been to manipulate you, to pull you into a game where you waste time and energy. But now, you don't respond as before. You don't exhaust yourself, don't engage, don't provide the fuel that fed their attempts to destabilize you. Your peace becomes an enigma, and those who once tested you begin to realize they've lost control. They don't know what to do with someone who doesn't falter, who doesn't succumb to chaos, who doesn't bend to the emotional game that once worked. And this uncertainty destabilizes them, because they've realized that the chosen one who was once a target is now a presence that can no longer be deciphered. But the impact goes beyond that. When you become an impenetrable force, your presence changes. You transmit something that few understand, but many feel. It's a silence that commands respect, a gaze that needs no words to show that nothing shakes you. Your energy strengthens from within, and those who once tried to destabilize you start to avoid you because they know they no longer have power over you. You realize the game has turned when those who once tested you observe you from a distance, confused about why nothing works anymore. But the true power of this isn't in the effect it has on others. It's in what it transforms within you. Because when your peace is no longer vulnerable, when you're no longer controlled by the external, you become truly free. And that freedom is what scares those who once tried to trap you in chaos. And this is your greatest power, the freedom to choose where to place your energy, who to connect with, what deserves your attention, and what deserves to be ignored. You can't stop the world from testing you, but you can decide that your peace will no longer be up for grabs. And when you take control, everything around you begins to change. What once irritated you no longer has power. What once consumed you no longer finds space. You become a fortress. And that is the greatest victory of all. Have you ever noticed how some people seem to feed off your exhaustion? How certain environments feel designed to drain your energy? This is no coincidence. The world tests you constantly, waiting for you to lose control, to give in to chaos, to react as expected. When you explode, when you get angry, when you feel emotionally drained, you're exactly where they want you. The peace you lose in these moments isn't just a state of mind. It's a piece of your strength. If you don't start protecting your energy, you'll always be an easy target. But when you learn to maintain your peace, everything changes. You start to observe, but not absorb. You listen, but don't react. Suddenly, provocations lose their effect. Insults don't reach you, and psychological games no longer affect you. Those who try to destabilize you realize they've lost their power over you. And that's exactly what they fear. A chosen one who can no longer be manipulated. The secret lies in how you respond, or rather, in choosing not to respond. Not every battle needs to be fought. Not every situation deserves your energy. The problem is that we've been conditioned to believe we need to justify ourselves, prove our worth, and counter every criticism. But that's a trap. The time and energy you spend trying to convince someone of who you are could be used to build your own evolution. When you understand this, you start acting strategically. You choose your battles, select your interactions, and distance yourself from what doesn't add value. This doesn't mean being cold or indifferent. It means preserving your peace as a non-negotiable asset. Those who try to test you depend on your reaction to stay in control. But when you stop offering that response, the game changes. You not only preserve your energy, but also gain power over your own life. What happens when you stop reacting? First, the world around you becomes confused. People who were used to provoking you and seeing a response start to get frustrated. They try harder, force situations, create new conflicts. But none of it works because you no longer give them what they want. Then, something powerful happens. You feel the positive impact of your new stance. Your mind becomes lighter, your heart calmer. What once seemed to consume your days now becomes irrelevant. You realize you've always had the choice not to engage. Your energy doesn't need to be wasted on what doesn't take you anywhere. This awareness transforms you because now you have clarity about where to place your attention. And when you focus on what truly matters, growth is inevitable. Many think that maintaining peace is weakness, that not reacting is accepting defeat. But that's an illusion. True strength lies in those who control their emotions, who know they don't need to prove anything to anyone. Those who master this principle become unshakable. The world may try to provoke, but it can no longer take away your stability. This is terrifying because a person who remains unshaken cannot be manipulated. Silence and indifference are powerful weapons. When someone realizes they've lost control over you, that their provocations no longer have an effect, they become desperate. Because they depended on your response to keep playing the game, without it, the game ends. You win when you decide your peace is worth more than any argument, any external opinion. If you look back, you'll see how many times you've exhausted yourself over things that didn't deserve your attention. How many nights you've lost sleep over words that shouldn't have mattered. How many times you've entered battles that left you drained but brought no real victory. Now, imagine how different your life would be if you had simply chosen to preserve yourself. If you had saved your energy for something that truly mattered. What's at stake isn't just your peace, but your quality of life, your mental clarity, your emotional balance. Choosing where to place your energy is choosing what's truly worth it in your journey. And that's a decision that changes everything. The great truth is that the world will never stop trying to steal your peace. There will always be challenges, people who try to test you, situations that seem designed to irritate you. But the difference between someone who suffers from this and someone who becomes unshakable isn't in what happens, but in how you respond. You can't change others' behavior, but you can change how you deal with it. You can decide that your peace will no longer be easily taken. You can set boundaries, distance yourself from places and people that drain your energy, and create an environment where your tranquility is protected. This doesn't mean living in isolation, but building an internal space where nothing and no one can touch you. And when you reach this point, something incredible happens. Your presence becomes magnetic. People start looking at you differently. They sense there's something in you that can't be shaken. Those who once tried to destabilize you begin to respect you because they realize they can no longer control you. You stop being a target and become an enigma, someone who can't be manipulated, someone whose peace is more powerful than any external attack. And that, chosen one, is the greatest victory you can achieve. True freedom isn't about changing the world around you, but becoming someone the world can no longer affect. When you learn to protect your peace, you realize that much of what used to irritate you was irrelevant. You see that you've spent too much time justifying your choices, defending yourself against criticism, worrying about the opinions of those who were never truly on your side. But now you see the truth. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. Your energy shouldn't be wasted on justifications or confrontations that lead nowhere. Silence can be your greatest response. The decision not to react, not to engage in others' chaos, to distance yourself from those who don't add value, becomes a liberation. Because when you stop giving attention to what doesn't deserve it, you finally have space to focus on what truly matters. This is how you begin to reclaim your strength. This is how your peace becomes unshakable. The world isn't used to people who don't react as expected. When someone realizes they can no longer affect you, frustration sets in. They try new ways to provoke, to pull you back into their game. But the difference now is that you see the pattern. You no longer let yourself be fooled. You understand that some fights were created just to weaken you. So instead of exhausting yourself, you observe calmly, analyze the situation, and choose not to engage. That's power. That's control. Not allowing anything to steal your peace means you've finally taken charge of your life. You're no longer at the mercy of circumstances, others' emotions, or the world's provocations. You've become free. And this freedom comes with a radical shift in how you handle situations. You stop trying to explain everything to convince others of who you are, simply because you no longer need to. You realize that others' opinions never defined your worth, that empty criticisms don't change the truth about who you are. You understand that your peace is worth more than any argument. And when this realization sinks in, your presence changes. You become someone who commands respect, not because you shout louder, but because you remain unshaken. The calm you carry unsettles those who once could destabilize you. They realize they've lost control, and nothing scares them more than that. What once drained your energy now becomes irrelevant. The things that irritated you no longer find space within you. You realize it's always been a matter of choice, that you've always had the power to decide where to place your attention. It's just that before, you didn't see it. But now, you know that every time you choose your peace, every time you distance yourself from something toxic, every time you choose to ignore provocations, you strengthen your spirit. This doesn't mean challenges disappear, but it means they no longer affect you the same way. You've become greater than any attempt to throw you off balance. And that's one of the greatest signs of evolution. Many will be bothered by this new version of you, because before, you were accessible, manipulable, easy to control. Now, you're a mystery. You don't react as before, you don't engage. As before, you don't exhaust yourself over what's not worth it. You've become someone who thinks before acting, who chooses where to invest their energy. And this confuses those who still live in chaos. They don't know how to deal with someone who no longer allows themselves to be emotionally drained. But that's the difference between those lost in the world's noise and those who've learned to become untouchable. And you, chosen one, now belong to the second group. Your peace is now your protection. This doesn't mean you've become indifferent, but that you've learned to differentiate what deserves your energy from what only seeks to drain you. You refuse to waste your time on empty fights, on people who only want to destabilize you, on environments that sap your strength. You've learned to say no, to walk away without guilt, to value your silence more than any explanation. And this decision changes everything. Because when your peace becomes a priority, your life starts flowing in the right direction. You realize you don't need to chase anything. What's yours comes to you because your energy is now aligned. You've freed yourself from unnecessary weight. And this freedom, this quiet strength, is what truly sets you apart. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. You don't need to spend your voice trying to convince those who never wanted to understand. You're above that now. Your energy is no longer scattered. Your mind is lighter. Your heart is stronger. You've learned that the greatest form of power isn't brute force, but the ability to remain calm when everything around you is in chaos. You've become untouchable. You've become a chosen one no one can control anymore. And that, perhaps, is the most terrifying thing for those who once tried to bring you down. You've come this far because, in some way, you felt you needed to hear this. And now you know that your peace can no longer be negotiated. You've realized you no longer need to engage in chaos, to carry weights that aren't yours, to waste your energy on those who never wanted to see you grow. The world will always try to test you, but now you have the answer. The conscious choice not to let yourself be swayed. You're not a hostage to circumstances, opinions, or attacks. You're the owner of your energy, your mind, your destiny. And this awareness frees you from everything that once tried to imprison you. Chosen one, if this message resonated with you, if it somehow made you see things differently, then it was already worth it. But now I want to ask you a favor. Click the like button below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and turn on the notification bell because here you'll always find powerful content to strengthen you on this journey. And more than that, leave a comment below. Tell me how this video impacted you, how you've been dealing with attempts to steal your peace. If you want to further support this work, consider becoming a channel supporter through the Buy Me a Coffee link pinned in the first comment. Your support helps keep this content alive and continues to bring powerful messages to strengthen you on this journey. And now, before you go, don't stop here. If you've made it this far, you need to watch the video appearing on the screen. It complements exactly what we've discussed today and can bring you even more clarity on this journey. Click now and continue this path. Chosen one, I'll see you in the next video, and may God bless you.